are following bad public speaking advice. And you have been following this bad public speaking advice for your entire professional career. I know it for a fact. I'll prove it. Here's some advice you've been following. Practice. Know your audience. Make eye contact. Organize your content well. Speak with clarity. And everyone's old favorite, tell them what you're gonna tell them, and tell them what you told them. None of this advice is in any way helpful unless you have the very first, most foundational piece of public speaking advice locked and loaded. My name is Hannah Michelati. I'm a public speaking and presentation skills expert and coach in Portland, Oregon. And in today's video, I'm going to give you the #1 piece of public speaking advice that you have never heard, but will make the greatest, most impactful difference on your public speaking, presentation, and communication skills. First, let's talk about the bad advice that you have heard and followed.
A lot of people out there who try to give you advice.
The reason it's poor advice is because it is common and it's generic. Without a certain person with a specific style to apply it to, this advice flows out with the tide and goes to die in the Mariana Trench at the bottom of the ocean. Know your audience. If you notice, you probably don't follow this advice. If you notice, other people at your company probably don't follow this advice either. So if it's such good advice, why aren't people following it? If it's such great advice, why isn't it making a bigger difference on people's public speaking skills?
There are no further questions. I'm gonna go.
Applying advice like practice and know your audience and speak with clarity without this one piece of advice I'm going to share with you is like going to a personal stylist for clothing and saying, nope, I'm not going to tell you what I look like. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to wear the clothes for.
No.
I'm not going to tell you what I do professionally.
No.
I'm not going to tell you what colors or cuts I like. I'm going to tell you nothing about myself. Your stylist has nothing to work with.
Think with.
The stylist is trying to build a base of who you are in order to find pieces that work for you, but they have nothing to work with. That's the same way the generic advice works. If you don't have anything to work with as a base,
Never baked before, let alone competitively, let alone on Bake Off. It's the worst idea anyone's ever had.
saying practice or make eye contact or have good gestures goes out the window and into the bottom of the ocean. As a result, you might end up being styled like Morticia Addams or Hillary Clinton. Both good looks for two different ladies, but likely not your look. And that's where my advice that I have cultivated over the last 20 years comes into play. Here is the one piece of public speaking advice that you have never heard, but will make the greatest, most impactful difference on your public speaking, presenting, and communication skills. Incorporate yourself personally into your professional public speaking, presenting, and communication. It will change everything you communicate for the better, I promise. Before you turn this video off, give me 30 seconds to pitch to you why this is the best piece of public speaking advice you will ever hear and use and will make the greatest difference in your public speaking skills. Here's my pitch. I want you to imagine that you are a hotshot Hollywood director and producer. Yes, you are Steven Spielberg. You are Greta Gerwig. You're hosting auditions for your next biggest hit blockbuster. You watch 15 different actors read the same script.
We tested 10 actresses with Ryan.
You watch 15 different actresses read the same script. How do you choose the best person for the role? The words are identical that everyone has read out loud. The scripts are the same. What changes? The person, the actor or actress themselves. When you incorporate yourself into your content, and by this, I mean your dry humor, or if you're like me, you're in your 30s and you still like poop jokes. Yes, I have said that on the internet. It's now out there. Your personal stories, like how you are absolutely terrified to teach your 17-year-old who just got their driver's permit how to drive. That's super relatable.
I do is I put on my blinker. Oh, wait. Okay.
Watch the road, watch the road!
All right.
Your tone of voice. Think about James Earl Jones.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
No one would mistake that voice for anyone other than James Earl Jones. The voice of Darth Vader himself. Are you kidding me?
I am your father.
Your gestures. Are you like Jim Carrey? And you use exceptionally exaggerated comedic movements and body language? Or are you on the calmer side of the spectrum, like Jane Goodall, RIP. When you incorporate these pieces of yourself into your professional speaking, presenting, and communication at large, you add an ingredient no one else can touch. You. No one else is you. No one else in the history of the universe has been or ever will be you. Incorporating pieces of who you are into your content is the singular #1 way to stand out to your audience, to also increase audience engagement, and very generally to get people to like you when you're speaking to them. When you incorporate yourself into your content, you also become more trustworthy, more authentic, more credible, more sincere. Tons of qualities abound when you put more of yourself into your content. Your audience wants to see and hear a human speaking to them. The minute we start doing this, we become weird looking. Not a corporate robot talking head who says things like, we are going to leverage synergies for strategic execution to meet Q4 numbers. Start incorporating yourself personally into your public speaking, presenting, and communication. Once you have a blueprint for the ways that you can show up when you present, speak, and communicate, remember, it's like talking to a stylist. If you know your style, your cuts, your colors, the application of what you're going to wear, you can effectively apply the other generic advice, like practice, know your audience, that's always with finger guns and that tone of voice, structure and organize your content well, clearly deliver, articulate, eye contact. All of that can be applied once you first know how to shine by incorporating pieces of you into what you're saying. Let's talk about what happens when you skip incorporating yourself personally into your professional content. You become part of the corporate noise. Yeah, it's that corporate noise that you absolutely despise listening to as an audience member. When you skip the incorporation of you personally into your professional content, you sound like anyone else, you look like anyone else, and you feel like anyone else. When you skip the incorporation of you personally into your professional content, your audience tunes out. You'd tune out too if you had to listen to corporate you. No one wants to listen to another corporate robot because corporate robots do not blend themselves personally and professionally. Everyone, you and your audience, wants a real human to speak and communicate with them. I like to tell people that when it comes to talking about your work or your hobbies, you want to take a page out of Inigo Montoya's book. Give that to your audience. Give that to your listeners. Give that to anyone listening to you speak, talk, or communicate at large. Incorporate more of you personally into your professional content.
It's a party. You're invited.
If you're asking, okay, great, I'm on board, because I want you to be. How do I do it? That's exactly what I teach corporate clients across the United States in workshops. However, I will give you a clue. If you go back and watch this video closely, you will notice I have done exactly what I have told you to do in this video. I have made references to Jim Carrey, Jane Goodall, James Earl Jones, Star Wars, Greta Gerwig, Steven Spielberg, even the Mariana Trench, all for a very good reason. All of those specifics matter to me. They have an impact on me personally. I don't have to share how or why, but the moment that I've inserted those into what I'm sharing, I light up. I'm so much more interesting to listen to and watch because I'm talking about what matters to me in a professional context. I'm bringing in personal aspects and I'm blending them with a professional video about public speaking. If you would like to learn more about how to change your public speaking skills to get better results, you need to change the advice you're following. You need to stop listening to the generic advice and start with a base level of putting more you and what you have to talk about, because you are the singular factor that no one else can replicate, that no one else can be. So let's maximize your potential. If you're interested in hiring me for a corporate workshop, please be sure to click the link in the description box below that will take you to a 30-minute consultation where we can talk about you, your team, and the skills you would like to see them improve. That is all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.